So the word's out that he hasn't paid any taxes for 10 years. Let him prove that he has paid taxes, because he hasn't.
Harry Reid really has to put up or shut up, all right? So Harry, who are your sources? Let's have Harry explain who that is.
It may not be that Harry Reid committed the felony, but if somebody's calling him and telling him about Romney's tax returns, it would appear that person has committed a felony.
These groups were then subjected to further IRS investigation and document requests. IRS employees later expanded their search to include groups concerned about government spending, debt, taxes, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, or trying to, and I quote, make America a better place to live, end quote. Let me repeat that. People were targeted for trying to make America a better place to live. Despite a 2-year-long investigation by this committee, the IRS never told the American people or their representatives about this simple truth. In fact, we were repeatedly told no such targeting was happening. That isn't being misled, that's lying.
I very much regret that it happened on my watch.
That was in stark contrast to that man's previous appearance before Congress.
Yes, I can give you assurances. There's absolutely no targeting.
And of course, by no, I mean lots of.
I am not aware of that.
I don't. They should have run up the chain, and they didn't.
I don't know anything about that.
I didn't know at that time.
I am not aware of that.
I don't know. I don't know. I have no memory of anyone doing that.
I didn't know that.
I'm not personally responsible.
Well, I think that the Internal Revenue Service problems are going to get bigger and broader. I think the fact that the Internal Revenue Service Commissioner was in the White House 157 times, dramatically more than any member of the cabinet, more than Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, more than the Attorney General. People are going to say, wait a second, don't tell me he dropped by the White House 157 times and nobody knew what was going on.
The individuals who sought to intimidate us were acting as they thought they should in a government culture that has little respect for its citizens. Many of the agents and agencies of the federal government do not understand that they are servants of the people. They think they are our masters, and they are mistaken. I'm not interested in scoring political points. I want to protect and preserve the America that I grew up in. The America that people cross oceans and risk their lives to become a part of. And I'm terrified it is slipping away.
Scandal we've ever had, and frankly, as things begin to leak out, we're seeing the Environmental Protection Agency tied into this. We're learning that virtually every cabinet officer had an illegal, secret address for their emails, which is literally against the law.
This was not an accident. This is a willful act of intimidation to discourage a point of view. What the government did to our little group in Wetumpka, Alabama is un-American. It isn't a matter of firing or arresting individuals. The individuals who sought to intimidate us were acting as they thought they should in a government culture that has little respect for its citizens.
This dialogue is about the jackboot of tyranny upon the field of our founding documents. To whisper the letters IRS strikes a shrill note on Main Street, USA. But when this behemoth tramples upon America's grassroots, few hear the snapping sounds.
Pro-gun lobbyists on here saying to me, well, the reason we need to be armed is because of tyranny from our own government. And I've always laughed at them. Sure. And I've always said, don't be so ridiculous. Your own government won't turn itself on you. But actually, when you look at this, it's nothing to do with guns. But actually, this is vaguely tyrannical behaviour by the American government. I think what the IRS did is bordering on tyrannical behaviour. I think what the Department of Justice has done, actually, to the AP is bordering on tyrannical behaviour.
There's no doubt about that. Once you use the word bordering, that's true. And I also think that it shows you how much we can trust the government and just sit back, which is not very much at all.
I'll just tell you, it strikes me, and maybe it's just me, but it strikes me as a cultural, systemic, character, moral issue. When your fellow citizens, the ones who pay your salary, are struggling, that is a character issue. Training cannot fix that.
Certainly, the culture of the left was penetrating the bureaucracy. But this is really a warning that when you have big bureaucratic government, you're inevitably going to have some people who are out of control. The fact is today we have a bureaucracy so big and so self-policing that we have no control as citizens. And I think we're going to take very deep, very substantial reform in order to be able to move away from the kind of threats we have to our very freedoms.
The IRS has not honored its trust with the American people, that the Obama administration has demonstrated a willingness to use the machinery of government to target their political enemies. And that's wrong. It was wrong when Richard Nixon did it, and it's wrong when Barack Obama did it.
Her name is Lois Lerner. She announces that she's invoking her Fifth Amendment right.
So, Mr. Inspector General, in reality, it just strikes me that we just need one single recommendation. Start over.
I'm not just sounding off when I say the IRS should be dissolved.
Given the scandal at the IRS, to really get at trying to abolish that agency.
It is a manifestation of too much power in the federal government. When the federal government has that much power in our individual lives, it's an invitation to being abused. And I think we ought to abolish the IRS and instead move to a simple flat tax.